Hi guys, it's SkintBoot here, and today what I'm going to be bringing you guys is a fairly lengthy update video surrounding No Man's Sky and the whole Waking Titan ARG and a huge development with what is happening with it. So there's going to be a lot of stuff in this video which I'm going to be talking about, so I would recommend to kind of sit back, you know, get comfy, because there is a load of stuff to talk about. There's a lot of solid information, but there's also quite a lot of speculation, so it's a bit of a mix in this video. But either way, this information is extremely useful and very, very interesting to the whole ARG surrounding No Man's Sky and what people believe to be some kind of development for the update or the future of No Man's Sky. So if we start at the very, very beginning and just look at what has happened, users who have linked their emails to Waking Titan via the passwords and getting to the right stage and all of that have all received messages relating to a sequence being broken. When you open this email, it has an image of the Atlas logo with a distorted background. Now on this image there are many points of interest, mainly the hexadecimal code in the top left hand corner of the screen, but also the word listed after the sequence break error. There's a load of really interesting stuff that people have picked out from these emails, but what makes them especially important and especially interesting is the fact that not all of the emails are the same. What makes them unique is that the hexadecimal code in the top left hand corner of these emails are unique for people. There isn't like a universal one. Not everyone has the same one. They aren't completely unique, but there isn't just one set of code, which makes this extremely interesting to look at. Now, people have gone about naturally converting these hex codes to readable text and researching the final word, etc., researching the meaning of the hex, and there are so many really interesting things to talk about. Now, if I start with my email, the one which I received, in the top left hand corner of the email I received the hex code 4A6F736566F6E and the final word reading woe. Now if you put this code into a hex to text translator, it reveals the word Josian. Probably said that wrong, but there will be more on this in a second. Now, some people have gone about finding out what this word actually means. It links into Korean culture and the history surrounding the country and also locations and a load of other really interesting stuff. But most importantly, if you find the Korean symbol for the word Josian and put it to English in Google Translate, it translates a very interesting word. That word being shipbuilding. Now, I know this is pretty damn crazy. A lot of people can relate this to No Man's Sky, but there is more to it, because Josian was actually a kingdom in Korea and had a load of really interesting stuff with it, but I'll get onto that in a second. But others who have really long strings of hexadecimal code, like the one shown on screen, it translates to Royal Society. Another really long one translates to the Battle of Hastings, and the final one translates to Turing. Some people have gone about trying to find the significance of these words, and there are some really interesting results. But before we get to that, we have to look at the email once more and actually look at where this takes us. How does this develop the ARG? Now, clicking on the Waking Titan link provided on the email brings us to phase 2 of the multiple choice questions, which is something which we have seen before with the 83 codes given out to users. Now, the answers which can be selected appear to just be gibberish, just be numbers, just be letters, but these are actually RGB code, and when all of these little phrases are translated to color, it reveals the colors green, purple, pink, light blue, and a red. People are working out that red seems to have the most relevance to the hexadecimal results, but why is that? And this is when it gets a little bit historical, and this is when it also gets quite speculative, so bear with me whilst I talk with that. So the Royal Society, if you look up on Google, gives you a fairly lengthy definition of what it is, and I'll put it into simple terms. The President, Council and Fellows of the Royal Society of London for Improving Natural Knowledge, commonly known as the Royal Society, is a learned society for science and is possibly the oldest such society still in existence. Founded in November 1660, it was granted a royal charter by King Charles II as the Royal Society. The Society is the United Kingdom's and Commonwealth of Nations Academy of Sciences and fulfills a number of roles, promoting science and its benefits, recognising excellence in science, supporting outstanding science, providing scientific advice for policy, fostering international and global cooperation, education and public engagement. But what is important, and how this links into the whole RGB mystery, is the fact that the Royal Society is often associated with the colour red. The logos are nearly always branded in red, which creates a link to one of the answers. Now, the Battle of Hastings, as I'm sure you know if you did any sort of history in England, was a fight between the Norman French army and the English army. A lot of people have been going mad thinking how red relates to the Battle of Hastings. People may say blood because of death and because of conflict, what have you, but more solid evidence suggests that a commander in the Battle of Hastings was called Alan the Red, once again proving a link to the colour. Now, the other answer to the hexadecimal conversion was Turing, and Turing was a member of the Royal Society, and because of its links to the colour red, people assume this has some kind of relevance. And the Kingdom of Joseon, as I mentioned at the beginning, has a red flag. People also say that the wiki for it has a red background. So there is overwhelming evidence to suggest that the red answer in this multiple choice question is going to be the correct one. Also, what is important with these emails is, yes, the hex code is different, the ending word is different, but when users click the Wake in Titan link, it takes them to the same set of questions. So this means that the questions are universal, but the reason as to why people have been given individual hex codes is unknown, presumably so we can get a full picture of what is happening and the translations and what have you. But that is all we know for now, and I'm sure as time progresses, people are going to do a load more research and a load more developments will be made. But at this point in time, all we know is that red seems to be the most likely answer, and the hexadecimal to text conversions link into this, and loads more. But what is also extremely important is the fact that people have been linking in these answers to No Man's Sky, naturally, because it is a No Man's Sky related ARG. Now, the Royal Society mentions science a load, and as we know, one of the factions in No Man's Sky is science based. So people think that because the next update is supposed to emphasize combat, conflict and allegiances with the factions, this is pointing towards the fact that these traits as such will be quite important. And then of course the Battle of Hastings and all of this things to do with kingdoms and commanders makes people think that this again is relating to No Man's Sky, relating to a combat update. This isn't even that far-fetched, because if you remember a while back now, when the first leaks started to come out for the next update for No Man's Sky, a load of leaked audio files pointed towards conflicts, pointed towards things like hostile systems, missiles, and a wealth of other really interesting things. And it seems like a lot of people have just forgotten about it, but if we take this previous found information, apply it to the results which we have been given from this developed ARG, then it seems almost certain that this update will be focused around conflict or a overhaul of the factions, hopefully both. So there you have it. That is pretty much everything. Again, I'll keep you updated if anything does happen, but I do encourage you to link your email address to Waking Titan so you can kind of keep up to date with all of this. But that is the end of the video, guys. I do hope you enjoyed. I do hope this helped or enlightened you in some kind of way. If it did, then please do feel free to show your support on the video by dropping a like. And of course, if you guys could also subscribe to MZK, that'd be absolutely fantastic. And as always, I will see you guys on my next video. This is SkintBoot, signing out.